Cup of Joe with Scott Green, and this is why I needed my cup of Joe refilled, because we're going to sit down, we're going to listen to Scott Green have a cup of Joe conversation with Joe the mascot. Cup of Joe.
Welcome, alumni, anybody that's out there in cyber world here, to the Cup of Joe. And I'm so excited that we have a really special guest with us today. And that is our own President Scott Green. And we have an hour with Scott today, which is great. And the format for this might be a little different. If you've been on a Cup of Joe before,
and this is from 3 months ago, everybody. This is October 6th, 2023. Okay. So keep that in mind. Let me put that link in there if you guys want that. There's the link. Shout out Aaliyah. Thank you so much. We will be, and that's one of the things I apologize. I was supposed to be doing the CJ's Cliff Notes, the final chapter, yesterday morning, and I wasn't able to because of the freaking internet issues. So we're going to be doing that here after this conversation here. We're going to be finishing up. That's one of the things I didn't mention. I forgot to mention in the intro. We are going to be getting back to some more Enon shows the middle of next week. And if you guys remember James, the gentleman that had the Moscow video about the personal struggles and things like that, he's going to be joining the show, I think, Thursday morning. I think we're going to be having James on the show, so look out for that. But I'm thinking like probably Tuesday or Wednesday, we'll be getting back into some of the Enon stuff. So, and I do need to check my emails. I know I got an email from him sometime today, I think. So this is Cup of Joe, President Scott Green, University of Idaho, October 6th, last year.
How we will run the show is we already have several questions that have come into us, and we will ask those of Scott, and then we'll continue going through the questions that you might have that you can post in the QA box that's available at the bottom of your screen. And we are going to do our very best to get through all the questions, but again, it's only an hour. The good news is we plan on posting the recording to this. You can look for an email in your inbox that we will be responding to all of you with a link to a YouTube site. But then we'll also probably make sure we reference it in a future vibe for those that couldn't participate, that will want to see it and listen to all the great things that Scott has to share with us. So I hope that kind of explains those different logistics that we have with this particular webinar. Thank you to Sandy Larson, of course, and to our wonderful IT team for helping us set this up. So with that, I would like to introduce to all of you our president, Scott Green, who took the office as our 19th president on July 1st, 2019. How time flies when we're having fun. He is a very highly accomplished executive. He's had a very accomplished career in global finance, in operations administration, and of course, most importantly, on this Cup of Joe, he's a proud alumnus of the university, and he graduated in 1984 with a bachelor's of science in accounting. He was born in Moscow and graduated from Boise High School, so he's definitely an Idaho native, and been great to have him back. He went on to attend Harvard Business School and received a Master's of Business Administration in 1989. It's really fun to kind of re-review his background, because he does work for he worked at one point for Boise Cascade, and then just things took off from there, which
Where's
is
the
fantastic. He worked
mascot?
for global law firms. As the CEO is
Where's the mascot? Where's the mascot? Look at the freaking thumbnail. Yo, I thought we were gonna be chilling with frickin' Joe Vandal here. What is this? Amy Dentz. Dentz.
Pepper Hamilton and is an executive director for Wilmer Hale. And he recently served, before coming here, as the chief operating financial officer for Hogan Lovells, one of the largest law firms in the world, which has over $2 billion in revenue. He led all the firm's worldwide operations with.
Wow, you guys, this is October 6th. Look at those windows. Look at all the grime that's on those windows. That's not fucking December in the middle of the day. That's fucking October 6th. Ooh.
With conflicts of finance functions and
Ooh.
also the technology component, and responsible for over 3,000 employees. So
I thought we were
an accomplished background. He's the first non-lawyer to run an American law lawyer, 100 law firm, and he was recognized as one of the top 50 big law innovators of the last 50 years by the American Lawyer magazine in 2013. So I could keep going and going and going, but I am going to stop because we're going to.
Not much, because there's only 282 views on this. The last video we watched, I think, had 15. Trust me, we're the only ones watching this shit, you guys.
Run out of time pretty soon. Scott, thank you for joining us for the cup
there
of
ain't much
Joe.
on there.
And I'd like to just start with any opening remarks that you want to mention, and then we're going to dive into some of these great questions that have come our way.
Great question.
Yeah, thanks, Sammy. I'll just start by saying thank you for having me, and thank you for. It looks like we have over 100 alumni participants already, and you're just doing a great job. I'm so glad you're with us as well. We've got a great team here at the U of I. We've really built a strong, management team, and I'm very proud of what we've accomplished over the past 4 years.
Wonderful. Well, I'm just going to.
Why does he always look like he's got explosive diarrhea? You know? Like, bro, you gotta give it some time, man. Your shit might blow out on you, you know? He always looks like he's got explosive diarrhea.
I'm going to hit the ground running with a couple questions that came in tied to the University.
Don't squeeze so hard.
It happens to be. There's a lot of coverage in the news, of course, and many of us are incredibly excited because we
just look at his face.
Certainly learned a lot about this opportunity. Can you kind of give us some background on and share with the alumni about the University of Phoenix opportunity, and how can our alumni learn more and show their support?
Nice. She's going to go right in on the University of Phoenix deal. Oh, hell no. Okay, this got interesting now. Hold on.
I'm going to hit the ground running with a couple questions that have
here we go.
Tied to the University of Phoenix. It happens to be. There's a lot of coverage in the news, of course, and many of us are incredibly excited because we have certainly learned a lot about this opportunity. Can you kind of
learned a lot, lady? There was a non-disclosure 2 days before the vote was supposed to happen, and they had 90 minutes to meet. And then you ain't saying shit. How is this exciting when you see even the own president and the universities fucking having to go in front of court hearings to answer about this deal? It's like a deer running to headlights. Look at her. She's like a deer running to headlights. Your poor grandchildren, lady. That's who's going to be paying for this bullshit that this dude's about to fucking go down with.
Give us some background on
your grandchildren are going to be paying for this dude's mistake.
About the University the Phoenix opportunity. And
You don't care about your fucking grandchildren having to pay back a whole bunch of fucking money when they. Yeah, son, let me hand you a car that don't fucking work, and I'm gonna hand you the car note with it too, so you can pay for something you can't even fucking use.
and how can our alumni learn more and show their support for this?
Yeah, so I'm sure everybody's
No, they won't. I don't see them monetizing the court. I don't see them monetizing the court.
aware of this, but
Not the streams. I don't.
for those who are not, maybe I could just start by
Judge
indicating
John.
why we are interested in it and what are the strategic benefits of the transaction. And basically, we were approached, in early February or thereabouts.
You were approached.
From some
No.
folks who were involved, peripherally with, the University of Phoenix and the transaction that they were trying to
You were not approached.
close with the University of Arkansas. And we learned that that transaction, they weren't sure if they were
Yeah.
going to get that through.
Yeah.
It didn't go if we'd be interested. We said, well, we possibly would be, but we didn't want to be used to push up a price or
You lowballed them, bro.
be used as a stalking horse for somebody else.
You lowballed
And
them.
having said that, they were very upfront with us and said, look, there's a lot of interest in this, but we have other competition. And
You lowballed them.
if you're interested, we will go through the process and see where we are. So we talked to them, and when things got to a point where we were pretty, we thought that it was a pretty good opportunity for us. They shared some information. It's basically management information, but it wasn't detailed information. We indicated we were interested, and they were interested in us because we had a chance to meet with them. We had a chance to meet with their management team, and
He's saying that they reached out to him. My ass. Why would they think you're even fucking interested in buying the fuck? Like, isn't it interesting? Look at what they're showing in the background there. The fucking Kibby Dome. It's not connected to the University of Idaho, even though it's on the University of Idaho's campus. And look at that building. It's got University of Idaho right on it, and it's attached to the fucking Kibby Dome.
we were just really impressed with them. So then we
where the
began doing our
university-
due diligence.
It's where the university plays, and it's where this nonprofit organization that's purchasing the University of Phoenix online through taxable and non-taxable bonds is where they're going to be located. The address of the Kibby Dome.
And that's when things got really interesting. Strategically, this just makes a lot of sense.
It's where the
for us.
football team plays.
The University of Phoenix, they have focused on, they're primarily online, and they focused on adult learners, and that's probably the largest category of educational opportunity in the United States. And it's particularly interesting at this time because we're about to enter what we call an enrollment cliff. And that enrollment cliff is purely demographic, has to do with the Great Recession of 2000, began in 2008, 2009, and families started having fewer children. And so if you fast forward 18 years, you realize that those cohorts, those folks who were born then now are ready to enter college. Well, it's a much smaller population because of the baby bust. Some say it's 15%, possibly 500,000 students that will disappear from college campuses across the country. And so that's going to be a real problem for colleges and universities such as the U of I. Many predict many colleges across the country won't make it and will be closing down. And frankly, this year, I understand there's already been over 90 colleges that have closed down in this country. We're not even in the cliff yet. So, there's just a lot of capacity in the country, and we're about to see supply dry up. Having said that, The adult learner cohort that the University of Phoenix serves will be growing over that period of time, about 5% a year, according to to many who follow such things. So I think it's pretty obvious that if you've got one market that's shrinking and the other that's growing, that those revenues can help offset each other and mitigate some of the losses, the expected losses. So, from a strategic standpoint, that really piqued our interest. Also, it's frankly quite a good deal for the University of Phoenix and for the University of Idaho. The University of Phoenix is a for-profit educational entity at the moment, and that's come with a lot of baggage for them. They would like to be a
They would like to be a nonprofit, really.
nonprofit, and we provide an opportunity for them to become that. And that is very significant because that means that all the taxes that they're paying, they'll pay about $20 million in taxes this year. And all the dividends that they've been paying, which has been tens of millions of dollars a year, will now be available to both the University of Phoenix and the University of Idaho for student success. So,
whoa! You skeezy motherfucker. They're not just using the University of Phoenix online for enrollment. They're using it to fucking bank off of too. What? Yeah, he's got a green screen. That's fucking crazy. Again, here's the link to this video. We are at the timestamp at only 8:23. Wow, it's going to be a fucking cash grab too. He said it's going to open up the books not only for them, but for us. Dude.
dry up. Having said that,
Dude.
the adult learner cohort that the University of Phoenix serves will be growing over that period of time, about 5% a year,
5%,
according to to many who follow such things. So, I think it's pretty
5%.
obvious that if you've got one market
Dude,
that's shrinking and the other that's growing, that those revenues.
How is it hold on. How is it 5% when your enrollment last year was 85,000 and your projected for this upcoming next year is going to be 65? How in the fuck do you get 5%? Your previous was 85. Your projected next year for University of Phoenix Online is 65. How in the hell do you get to 5%?
Who follow such things. So, I think it's pretty obvious
How
that
do you
if
get
you've
to
got,
5%?
one market that's shrinking and the other that's growing, that those revenues can help offset each other and mitigate some of the losses, the expected losses. So, from a strategic standpoint, that
Tax
really
write-offs,
piqued our
yeah.
interest. Also,
Yeah,
it's
that
frankly
money
quite a
piqued
good
our
deal
interest.
for the University of Phoenix and for the University of Idaho. The University of Phoenix is a for-profit educational entity at the moment, and that's come with a lot of baggage for them. They would like to be a nonprofit, and we provide an opportunity for them to become that. And that is very significant because that means that all the taxes that they're paying, they'll pay about $20 million in taxes this year. And all the dividends that they've been paying, which has been tens of millions of dollars a year, will now be available to both the University of Phoenix and the University of Idaho for student success. So,
For student success,
from that
my
standpoint, it's
ass.
a good deal for both of us. And the not-for-profit we're setting up will acquire this at less than 2.5 times EBITDA. So all those accountants and business people out there, they'll probably salivate at hearing that. I mean, how many deals do you know that have been that have been?
So then why didn't all these other fucking universities jump at it, bro? Dude, you were lying so
transacted
bad.
at that price?
Dude.
So there's just a
They were trying to these other universities were willing to pay $1 billion for the University of Phoenix online until they got to the final stages, which means they got to see the real fucking books, and they all went, "Yo, bro, what are you talking about?"
it's just a great fit from both
They all went,
strategic and financial
"Yo."
point of view. And then I'd also just mention, their systems are world class, and we'd be acquiring those
Salivate, yeah,
systems and,
like a
and make those
fucking
available
wolf.
for student success at Idaho, in the state of Idaho.
Wow.
We can leverage their platforms for our on-campus
He's
students
saying it
and
all right here.
rural placed citizens.
For
So there's
students.
just a lot of benefits. I could go on, but
Oh, I'm
that kind of
sure.
gives you the reason of why we thought we were, this would be really good for us. How can you help us? I think is kind of where your question started. Well, I would say, let your legislators know that you support this. This makes perfect sense for the state of Idaho. We're a very rural state, and this will give us, the University of Idaho, an opportunity to help reach those citizens. If you believe like I do about this, write letters of support. For this, whether it's in op-eds or to our elected officials, and at a minimum, let's just be vocal about your support to others in our community. Oftentimes, the silent majority goes unheard.
No, it's true, man. When the fucking government itself backs away and doesn't want anything to do with the University of Phoenix online because of the fucking practices and the bullshit that they do to what they're doing is they're robbing the people that need it most. You know what I mean? They're robbing the people that need it most. They're the people that can't afford to go to a classroom. They can't afford, they have to do the classes while they're taking care of their babies and, things like this, like, or working 2 jobs. And, that's why they went to do that. And they're using that against these people. That's why there's all these lawsuits happening. Yeah, it's going to only cost you $550 million to buy the damn thing. But guess what? Look at all the fucking lawsuits within the last couple years and tell me that ain't more than $550 million. Give me a break, bro.
And there, in my view, there's a very small number of people who are against this, but they're very loud. So
Yeah.
it's always helpful to have the support of our alumni and let our legislators know how much we care about our university. And
There's a reason, because all the other motherfuckers that said, yo, bro, it's people that actually care about that lady's grandkids, and she don't want to give a shit. There's so many great things about this deal. While your fucking grandkids are going to have to be paying for it just so you can suck up. Man, get the fuck out of here.
about this opportunity for our university.
Thank you, Nicola.
Well, thank you. I've met thousands of our alumni, and one of the things that they do often ask about is opportunities for adult learning. And so
Where's
I know
Joe the
that
Vandal?
indeed resonates for alumni everywhere. So that definitely excites me, and I know that people will be standing by to see where those opportunities take them. On the legislative front, one of the questions is, how are you seeing the support so far from the legislators and other state leaders regarding this University of Phoenix opportunity?
Yeah, so
Good
we
questions, though.
appreciate our
Good questions.
legislators and other state leaders that have listened, and we believe most now are seeing the opportunities of the partnership. President Lynn
The fuck they are.
John
The fuck
Wood
they are.
and the rest of his leadership team have gone on to around and met with most of our legislators. And I think that's gone very well. They've had a real impact. They see that these are people who really care about their students. They are not really, they don't fit the mold of what you hear about in the press. I think that's gone a long way to helping us. There will always be some just politically who are trying to get elected and improve themselves and put themselves above what's good for the state that will continue to challenge us, and we know that.
No, they're worried about the fucking community, dude. Oh my gosh, it's it's their own shit.
But at the end of the
At
day,
least he's
most
talking. He's
legislators want to do
answering
what's right
questions.
for the state, and I think that they will see the opportunity here and help move us forward.
Good, thank you. And just a reminder, some of you joined a little later after we started. There is a QA function at the bottom of your screen or on your screen where you can type in your questions, and we will try our best to get to those. So thank you for putting those questions
Yeah, I think somebody sat down and asked him 15 questions, April, and then they wrote the book. That's just me though.
in there. So
We'll see.
can you explain the timeline and the next steps for this affiliation with University of Phoenix?
Yeah. So basically, we've gone through the accreditor review. We went down to the University of Phoenix for that review. We met with the Higher Learning Commission, who's their accreditors, who are actually very tough accreditors. They're known as being very stringent, but they're quite good, and I think that went quite well. So at the end of the day, um,
This guy.
they will end up meeting with their board. I think it's November 2nd is the date, and should we get the green light there, then we would be prepared to go to the public market and float bonds in January.
Thanks for the timeline on that. So the upcoming legislative session, we all start thinking about it about right now, although it starts in January. Last year, there were a lot of alumni that jumped in and really paid attention to higher education. They wanted to make sure Idaho U of I was doing just fine, but by the funding initiatives, along with an initiative
What's up,
called the
Michelle?
Launch Initiative, which really is to help attract students to higher education. And there was a lot of focus on CTE. Are there other University of Idaho initiatives that you can think of coming up that would require legislative support this next session?
Well, we continue to focus on cybersecurity and healthcare in the state, and
Cybersecurity, huh?
we continue to work with the governor's office to try to include lines for those areas. They're both incredibly important areas for our state. We don't have enough healthcare workers in the state. We don't have enough cybersecurity experts in the state, and there's plenty of room for all universities to be involved.
That's a good point, Crime Solver. Aired October 6th, 2023, just a short time away. You're right. He does not seem like he has a care in the world. What's up, Thin Mint 501? He was like, hey, I need a way to cover my ass. Make sure you vote. What's up, Susan? Make sure, ticket number 99, make sure you vote. We got a poll up. Let me know. Do you think President Green was his own influence to write this book? Yes or no? And we're going to check the poll at the end of the show. Thank you all for hopping in.
This. So we're going to continue to focus.
You'll definitely want to go back to the start of when we did get into President Green. If anybody's coming in late, wait till you see why. Wait till you see why the University of Idaho was created. Just go to the beginning. You'll see what I'm saying.
Focus on those areas with the legislature and the governor going forward.
Good to know. Well, we'll stay tuned and
Thank you.
rally the troops.
Rally the
if
troops. Huh?
Alumni support is needed to take care of some of those important initiatives that you talked about. In addition to the University of Phoenix opportunity, what other initiatives is the University of Idaho
go back to it.
help mitigate impacts?
Keep talking about the University of Phoenix. I got to send this to Jay for Justice.
Yeah, it's a really good question. It's one I've been thinking a lot about over the years since I took this job. And I think any president, frankly, who's not thinking about that for their institution is not doing their job. I think the best thing that we can do for the enrollment cliff is having our financial house in order. I think which we've done. This was our fourth.
Nice. He's getting into the enrollment stuff. Nice.
Year where we've recorded a surplus.
Here's the link again to this video.
We also
acquired a small surplus. What? $1 million, dude. Here's the link to this. This is a great video, everybody. Definitely check the other ones we've been dropping. Seriously. You heard it here first. I'd just go back to the beginning of the show, honestly. Not tonight though. Just watch this part and then rewind. He just rolled his eyes. This is freaking nuts. He talks about all these good questions about the freaking deal. This is good stuff.
Good to know. Well, we'll stay tuned and we'll rally the troops of
I'm sure he already knew the questions. That's probably why he's talking like he is. I'm sure he does look uncomfortable answering it, but I think he knew the questions already.
if alumni support is needed to
She's
take
just
care of some of those
she's just
important
puffing him
initiatives
up.
that you talked
She's
about.
just puffing him up.
In addition to the University of Phoenix opportunity, what other initiatives is the University of Idaho taking on to help
Yes.
mitigate impacts from the enrollment cliff that you explained?
Well, what you're talking about, the University of Phoenix Online.
Yeah, it's a really good question. It's one I've been thinking a lot about over the years since I took this job. And I think any president, frankly, who's not thinking about that for their institution is not doing their job. I think the best thing that we can do for the enrollment cliff is having our financial house in order. I think which we've done. This was our 4th year where we recorded a surplus. It was a small one, but we'll take it. We also have
a small one. Because you're buying shit, bro. Yeah, we didn't make as much money as we made last year. Well, yeah, because you acquired more shit. You know how to spin it, don't you, Mr. Business? I know your fucking lies. You think you say something smart? You think you say something that's... Dude, I know... Listen, I know how business works. That's why. The fucking highest attendance you ever had. Barely had a surplus. Bullshit. It's because you're buying shit, bro. If you showed them the balance book, they'd be like, "Oh, well, yeah, you didn't make as much money, but geez, you acquired all of this." Then, if you add what the acquisitions are worth, well, then yeah, sly. Oh, we're so poor. We're so poor.
set new
So
grant
poor.
award records for research. And those awards come with F&A
We're so poor.
possibilities with them, which these are, the grants actually cover some of our fixed costs, in other words. So, if we're currently covering those fixed costs with other funds, that frees up those monies to go elsewhere. So we've got some record research grants that we've won. We've been very public about that, including one which will start this year, which is a $55 million grant for climate smart agriculture in the state. So, our team's really
Remember, you guys, I told you the last year they sit there and they do these deals and they get all this funding and it comes with enrollment. Look at this. They just acquired another one.
doing a great job on that.
Another one.
And I'd also say that, raising money to lower the cost of attendance for our students through scholarships and for endowing our professors to keep them in place and keep them paid. And we've raised 400 million of our $500 million goal so far. So we're doing really well on those fronts. And then finally, just making sure that we're at full.
They've raised 400 million of their 500. They've raised 400 million to 5,
including one which will start this year, which is a $55 million grant for climate smart agriculture.
Just another one.
So,
just another one.
Our team's really doing a great job on that. And I'd also say that, raising money to lower the cost of attendance for our students.
See, when I told you guys you could go on their damn Twitter and scroll through and see all the donation programs they have for this and for that and for this. Hey, we're having a donation program to help make our students' enrollment cheaper. We're having a donation program to make our students' enrollment cheaper. Oh, my Lord. We're so broke. We're so broke.
through scholarships and
We're so
for endowing our
broke.
professors to keep them in place and keep them paid. And we've raised 400 million of our $500 million goal so far. So we're doing really well
We're
on
so
those
broke.
fronts. And then finally, just making sure that we're at full capacity with enrollment when we go into the cliff, so we can sustain at least for the first 4 years, with as full capacity as possible, and we're getting there. Our pandemic class is our seniors this year, so if we have another good recruiting year like this year, and the year before, we will be in really good shape, I think, heading into the cliff.
That's great.
In a good shape heading to the cliff. The cliff is at the end of the year, people. Oh my lord. I'm glad that we came across this, right? I thought we were going to be sitting down with Joe the Vandal, but this is interesting because these are good questions, even though it's a puff piece. These are good questions as a puff piece. And he is saying some shit, y'all. He is saying some shit.
We do have some questions rolling in, and since before we
He is saying some
venture
shit.
out of the discussion of Phoenix, I do have a couple questions that come in on the
Yeah.
University of Phoenix.
Come on.
This alum said, "I live in Tucson, Arizona, and I'm familiar with the University of Phoenix. I'm
Yep.
also familiar with the risks the University of Arizona is facing
Yes.
regarding acquisition of former
Yes.
Ashford. Can you explain what risks, if any, are to the University of
Yeah.
Idaho?"
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mr.
so
Green.
the way we structured this is much different than Ashford was structured with Arizona.
Even though you're going to lie to us, I want to hear this answer. That's a good question, alumni from Tucson. Thank you, sir, because I think everybody should be asking the same thing you are, Mr. Alumni from Tucson. Shout out to you. And if you come across this video and you're watching this show, do me a favor, call 812-250-8484 and leave me a message. I would love to talk to you.
And basically, we're structuring this nonprofit so that it is what we call a clean break. That means the sellers will not have any further role in the institution once they sell it.
Okay.
And it's also
So then this is why I want to ask you then, Mr. Green, because a little bit ago in this conversation, you said that they were reaching out to you because they wanted to become a nonprofit organization and you could help them do it. So if they're not gonna have, which we've always stated this, if they're not gonna have any involvement, then why in the hell on October 6th of 2023 are you now saying that they reached out to you because they needed help becoming a nonprofit, and now you answer the truth of what you said the month prior and 6 months prior when you said that they're not going to have anything to do with it? Dude, you just bounce back and forth in the matter of 15 fucking minutes, bro. This is a good video.
going to be set up with its own independent board.
This is a good video.
So the University of Idaho Board of Regents will be the sole member. The
You're
University
a
of Idaho
mean
will have an
one,
affiliation agreement
Mr.
with the University of
Green.
Phoenix, but it will have its own independent board and will be overseeing that operation. So that's very different than what Ashford had. And also
Yeah,
because it
tell
is
us.
an independent organization and
You
it's its
liar.
own legal entity, it does protect us from prior
You
Title
liar.
IV issues. And should the University of Phoenix have financial problems, it's highly unlikely. They have a very robust process. We're very comfortable with it. I don't see them having the same problems, despite what some U.S. senators think and issues of the past. They've got a great management team, and their processes, are very, very good around student loans and those sorts of things. So, having said that, if they do have issues, $200 million is being left on the balance sheet by the seller.
Have you not paid attention to the dude? That 200 million's gonna be gobbled up in no time, bro. Look at the last lawsuit, $150 million. dude, just do a Google search. I know you're smart enough.
part of our negotiation.
I know you're smart enough.
That could be used for working capital or
I know
contingent
you're
liabilities
smart
of any
enough.
kind that may be
Oh
out there.
man.
So, first of all, I think that it's, the University of Phoenix is in a better position than Ashford was on student loans. I don't think they've had one that's been by the Department of Education has been put back to them at this point. Doesn't mean there won't be any in the future, but there hasn't been any so far. And they want to do the right things. They do a lot of training with their people and dealing with their students. So my view is that we're in a very different place.
Dealing with their students. Yeah, dealing with lawsuits. Because they go out there in the workforce and their degree ain't worth shit because of what they fucking do to people. That's why there's so many damn lawsuits. That's why their enrollment was over 600,000 and 210, and just 14 years later it's down to 60 projected. Come on. We didn't even go to school for this shit, and we've been fucking knowing about it, Mr. Green. That's probably why fucking alumni from Tucson is like, yo, talk to us.
And a very different structure than the Arizona
What's up,
Ashford
Fedibus?
deal.
Thank you. And then there's a question as why does a merger help the University of Phoenix become a nonprofit? Why can't University of Phoenix do this without the University of Idaho or another
Dun,
party?
dun, dun.
Well,
Great question.
I mean, how would they do it? Right now they're owned by a private equity firm. And the
Great
private equity firm
question.
is just not going to, I think, turn them over for free. Their options are either, go back and they used to be a
That's a
public
good one.
company, with stock out there. They could go back to doing that and probably get a much better price, probably a lot more than what the transaction that we're doing with them. But that takes them back to where they were and creates a problem of this quarterly pressure for returns for your shareholders, right? So it doesn't really leave them in a better place. Affiliating with the U of I and becoming a nonprofit, with the U of I is a better solution and one that they've actually wanted to, that they've been pursuing for a number of years, that they've agreed with their private equity firm. That's the exit that they would like.
They've been pursuing a sale, you lying ass motherfucker, dude. Dude, don't you think if they've been pursuing it for years that the community wouldn't have been surprised when you dropped the fucking agreement 2 days before they had to vote? If they've been on your shit for fucking you lying ass, dude.
And the
Lying.
reason for that is it aligns them
Lying.
with their educational mission rather than having to please shareholders or investors. They can focus on student success. And by being a not-for-profit, they don't have to pay taxes. They can reinvest that in student success. And they
Yeah,
found a
'cause
great
they're
partner
going
with the U of
broke.
I. And
They're going broke.
we've done our due diligence, and these are good people who
Because they need a fucking source of income because all their income's going to fucking lawsuits and their enrollment's dropping. Yeah, they need another source of income, Mr. Green. Bro,
want to do the right thing.
how am I?
So, we believe that we will be a solution for them and we can help them, by not only becoming a non-for-profit, but by working on pathways between our two institutions
So
that,
you
that
can
will
have
benefit us both.
Bro, you're like fucking, dude. It's like somebody's like, hey, we got a source of oil over here. Let's go ahead and take it over. Dude. This thing ain't gonna pass, but I mean, it's up for vote in a couple weeks, you guys. The final part of the deal is up in a couple fucking weeks.
Hey, thank you. I have one more, and then I'm going to go on. We might circle back to Phoenix. We have time. But what collaborative opportunities do you foresee for adult education consultants? We might have a few of those that are alumni that are asking that question.
Well, again, I think there's always a need for service providers. I don't know what kind of education consulting he's talking about. we have everything from, and the University of Phoenix has everything from, folks who, regulatory consultants to,
Wow, you're already talking like the deal's finalized October 2023, and the deal's not even up for a final vote until February of 24. Dude, you're banking on this, aren't you? Look at that. He's
to,
even including the University of Phoenix in the questions
uh,
when it comes.
instructors who are part-time instructors or consultants, to labor. I mean, we use more consultants than you can shake a stick at. So my guess is, especially as the private universities, which I think are going to become a thing of the past. I just think there's so much government focus on them, and the government doesn't like them, that at some point they either need to find a partner or they won't survive. So there probably is opportunities there for consultants to get out there and help these universities find a partner and get them integrated. So those are the opportunities that I see.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to move into another topic that's very exciting to people, but can you give us an update on reaching
The Kibby Dome.
R1 status, and what does that mean financially for the institution if we do make it to the R1 status?
Sure. So just so folks who may not know what R1 is, or what we're talking about, is the Carnegie. There's a Carnegie classification for research institutions, and R1 is the highest, most intensive research type of institution. And you say,
I
well,
bet.
why is that important to be ranked, among that group? We're R2 currently. We're very high research, but
For money. Watch, he's going to say for money. He's going to tell you the honest truth.
we're not the highest, but very high. And then,
For money.
so why would we want to be R1? Well, about 80% of federal dollars go to R1 institutions, and some of the best research opportunities go there. And R1 institutions are, better attract, quality faculty to conduct research, and that students are interested in, and that benefit the state and the nation.
Oh, yeah.
So we've
Yeah.
always punched above our weight. We're building a world-class ecotron facility that's going to be the envy of any institution across the country or the world. We're building the largest
Again,
research area.
that's why they didn't make as much, because they're out there purchasing a whole bunch of shit. You just look at the balance books and you're like, oh, yeah, well, you do have a lot of property. So really, you did make quite a bit of profit.
In the state of Idaho, because we're the
Oh,
third
we didn't.
largest
We're
dairy
so
producing
poor.
state
We're so
in
poor.
the country. Climate smart agriculture.
We're so
things
poor.
around, research around fire. You name it. We do a lot of this stuff, and it's applied. It's stuff that matters to Idaho. It's stuff that matters to the country. It's important to us. We are doing a great job of getting there. We set a record last year of nearly $116 million in research expenditures. We're on pace to surpass that this year. We brought in a ton of doctoral students, and support for our postdocs, which creates the staff to bolster our research bandwidth. So the R1 goal is a bit of a moving target. There's this entity called ACE, that has bought the Carnegie system, and they may make some changes to it. But reality is that we're almost there, from both an expenditure and a support point of view, in the way they measure these things. We should be there to hit it by 2025 if they don't make too many changes to the system that would move us out for some reason. But right now we're doing really well. And by the way, we're in a virtuous circle, because with these research awards comes F&A, like I talked about earlier, and it just makes the university a healthier place. And over half of our undergraduate students get to do research. And that's unusual for any institution across the country. So that's why our students, when they come out, they're ready to go to work, because they've been working on cutting edge research and they know what they're doing. And they command the highest starting salaries of any other public university in the state. So we're doing a real service for the state of Idaho and for our country with the research we're conducting.
That's great. There is a ton of great energy here at the Moscow campus, and I know lots of people are excited about moving up to R1. But can you also share maybe plans and vision for the other campuses, that in Idaho Falls, in Boise, in Coeur d'Alene?
I'm sorry, can you say it again?
can you share some of the plans and vision for the other 3 campuses?
Sure.
In Coeur d'Alene,
Yes. Sorry.
Idaho Falls. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. So ultimately, we want to carry out our
You
land
just
granting
talk.
mission throughout all of our campuses and extension sites across Idaho. And for our campuses, we're aiming to cater to programs to the needs of the respective communities. In Coeur d'Alene, we have an incredible faculty that focus on industrial robotics. We also have those who focus on programs in natural resources, business and engineering. In Idaho Falls, won't surprise you that we're focused, and Amy used to work there, and be a real help to us there. That we're focused on nuclear engineering programs and cybersecurity, in building our partnership with the Idaho National Laboratory there. And in Boise, we've been specializing in education, natural resources law, architecture, and engineering. And also, we've been building out our professional education, there as well. Most recently, working with the West Ada School District to provide professional development programs for those administrators who would like to become superintendents, and that's just been an incredibly successful program. So those are kind of the plans, or what we focus on. We want to expand those in each of those areas. I think there's a lot of opportunity in all 3 of those markets. And so I can't really put one above the other. I am most concerned about North Idaho right now, and Coeur d'Alene, given what's going on at NIC. They've been a great partner with us and a great feeder school. And we may have to, by default, invest a lot more money out there if the assault on NIC continues. So
Right.
we just keep watching that.
It just good
Great.
questions.
This is a comment or question from one of our alum on the chat. Seems like the universities in the state are working together better than in the past. What opportunities might be available for cooperating to further all higher education in the state? So how can you see the universities working together continue to help?
Well, there's got to be a will to do that. And, we're fortunate that we've been doing a lot of great collaborative work with ISU. Kevin Satterley's been terrific and been really open, and we've done a lot together in cybersecurity and nuclear engineering. We both have put together joint lines and grants and won them, both through our federal delegation and our state. So we've done a lot of really good work together, and I would say we've done a lot of good work with CWI as well. Our Jumpstart program down in the Treasure Valley is an example of that.
Okay. So they're going to be they're venturing away from the University of Idaho's or Phoenix deal. Let me see what we're hearing next.
If you've got
and here's the link again to this if you want to. We're at the 30-minute mark now. I'm going to kind of skip around here to see if there's any questions about the property or anything to that matter.
Vision and you can execute. They will support.
Also, a little bit of news. It might be more regionally centered, but we are getting a few questions related to Home Depot. Why is the University of Idaho leasing land to Home Depot, which could maybe potentially negatively impact local businesses?
What?
Yeah. So,
what the fuck? They're selling what? They're leasing some of the university property to Home Depot? What the fuck? Oh my gosh, this video was nuts. It's just one after another. Now they're and oh my gosh, and it affecting the other businesses negatively? What the heck?
Both our university.
Now they're getting money from Home Depot too?
Yes, me too, definitely.
What the hell?
Well, there's been also a little bit of news. It might be more regionally centered, but we are getting a few questions related to Home Depot. Why is the University of Idaho
Where is this coming from?
Leasing land to Home Depot, which could maybe potentially negatively impact local businesses?
Negatively impact local businesses potentially. Where in the hell is it? Like, listen, I thought that I didn't even know about this shit. I didn't even know about this Home Depot shit.
Yeah, yeah. So, this is a bit frustrating, to me in that, we've gotten some criticism for, leasing some land where the Home Depot will come here in Moscow. But, frankly,
Oh, Kelly.
my job and my focus is on what's best for the University of Idaho and its students. And Home Depot was going to come to Moscow whether we leased land to them or not. So why we're the target is beyond me. They were looking.
Because it's university property, bro. This guy has no fucking clue. It's like the people on YouTube to tell you to look between a one-window truck and a two-window truck and expect you to really fucking look at the difference. Like you're not gonna notice. Like you're not gonna notice as soon as you see it played 3 times in front of you. Well, one truck has one window and the other one has two. Oh my lord.
Land, throughout Moscow.
They're leasing land to Home Depot now?
They preferred where we were. We were able to come to a good deal.
Why
with
are
them
they
where,
attacking us?
They're not only giving us a market lease for our land, and it aligns with our long-term plans for that property. Which
How does that okay, so is there any okay, hold on a minute. They have to okay, if there's already any we have to look for this for the next show. So there's got to be a city council meeting or a zoning committee meeting regarding this Home Depot University of Idaho. I want to hear if anybody wants to find it and send it to one of these locations. I want to watch this meeting. I want to see what the hell. I want to see what's all involved with this. That's got to be in it. It's got to be public, right? This Home Depot, it's a zoning. It's a zoning thing. It's a committee thing. They have to approve this. They have to, it's got to be because it's a zoning thing. It's got to be out there. So if you do see it, let me know. There's got to be. This dude, you know why they're attacking you? Because it's fucking university property, bro.
they were looking at land, throughout Moscow.
I'm sure they were. They could have went next to fucking Walmart.
They preferred where we were. We were able to come to a good deal with them where they're not only giving us a market lease for our land, and it aligns with our long-term plans for that property, which is over by the mall, which is the land we also lease to other operators.
Damn, they own a lot of land.
As part of that agreement, they've agreed to extend A Street in there, so they're making some municipal improvements that normally would not be included with a ground lease. So at the end of the day, it was a pretty good deal for really for not just the university, but but for our students and for our College of Ag. That money ends up coming into the university, $2.2 million over the life of that lease, and that would have gone to a private outfit in Moscow.
Yeah, somebody else in the fucking city that's. Yo, so I gotta send this to Justice. J is for Justice. She's gonna shit when she watches this.
We still have a Home Depot, so
she's gonna
again,
shit.
I don't see it as my job to prevent competition from coming into town. We have elected officials to do that, city officials and county officials. That's their job. My job is to educate people and to look out for the best interests of the University of Idaho and our
Speaking
students,
of shit,
and that's what I'm doing.
Thank you.
wow.
So, fall enrollment. We are already into September, and so students have been back for a little bit. How does our fall enrollment look?
It looks pretty good.
It
It's
was
our
the
incoming
best
class isn't as large as last year, which was our
yeah,
largest class in our history, but it'll probably be the second largest class. Well, it
yeah.
will be our second largest class, I think, in our history coming in. So the numbers
And then you add Phoenix and you got the
are looking real good, and our core enrollment will likely be up over 2%. And dual enrollment.
ooh, 2%. Maybe that's what they only ask for now with the way the economy is, because it used to be 4 to 8%. Maybe they dropped it from 4 to 8 to 2 to 4. I mean, you know what I mean, because it's probably what they did. Used to be 4 to 8, now it's 2 to 4. It'll be back to shit next. It'll be 6 to 10 when the economy comes back.
Still coming in, so those numbers won't be,
Every quarter,
finalized in total
no matter what.
until for about a few more weeks. But what I can say is that our core is kind of set. Folks are in school now. We're past 10 days, and so our overall enrollment of that core, which would exclude dual enrollment and non-degree seeking students, will be up over 2%.
Dual enrollment. Dual enrollment? Why? Because you got to scan. What the hell, bro? Dual enrollment? Because you got a scam? Because you got an enrollment scam? Are you fucking serious? Why would you ever have to take, why would you ever even have to bring up dual enrollment? Dual enrollment should be under 1%, right? It happens here and there. Wow. Dual enrollment.
That is amazing.
Got a
Also,
scam.
we have a question on
Enrollment
tied to
scam
enrollment.
too.
Regarding enrollment clip, what can we do to draw non-resident students into the institution?
Well, I'm happy to say that for the fourth year in a row, was just announced yesterday, we are the best value of any public university in the West and number 2 in the nation, only behind the University of North Carolina. So the way we can do it is just be competitive, and we want to keep our cost of attendance low and our quality high, and that's a winning combination, right? And when you do that, you can attract students.
Bro, you got 400 million out of your $500 million goal to make the fucking enrollment cheaper. I'm sorry. How much fucking money does it cost for the students as a total? I guarantee it ain't 400 fucking $1 million. Them students should be going there for free. How at 400 million? Bro, you got 12,000 fucking students.
during
What are you
through the
talking
pandemic,
about?
actually until this year, we most of our enrollment growth actually did come from the WUI states. This year it's been a bit of a shift, believe it or not, and most of our success came in state. Which I'm happy for as well. I
Wow,
take
this
growth
is
wherever we can
way
find
more
it.
than
But my sense is the out
what
of
I
state's going to
even
get even
thought.
more competitive because again, the demographics outside of Idaho are worse than
My
and I'm
gosh.
going to hit those areas worse, particularly in the Midwest and East Coast, but also California. And there's a lot of schools that rely real heavily on California right now, and because
Okay. Let me see. Let's go to the next question.
Bit about the book.
Yeah, sure. We talk a lot here about telling our story, and we've been through a lot of the first 4 years
Okay, so this is him talking about the book now.
here at the U of I. If you think about it, we were on the brink of insolvency. We've turned that around. We've implemented a vandal hybrid model, which is really unique to this.
On the brink of insolvency. The state of being insolvent, inability to pay one's debts. Are you freaking serious? You were on the brink of insolvency with the inability to pay your debt wow, dude, wow. Because the first 3 years out of your 4 years as being president, you fucking sucked? Is that why you were on the brink of insolvency?
Bit about the book.
Because you
Yeah,
fucking
sure.
sucked
We
for 3
talk a lot
years?
here about telling our story, and we've been through a lot of the first 4 years here at the U of I. If you think about it, we were on the brink of insolvency. We've turned that around. We've implemented
Fucking 3.
a vandal
Wow.
hybrid model,
Oh,
which
this
is
is
really
crazy
unique to this
video.
university, but
This is a crazy
helps
video.
straighten out our finances. We've been through a
Oh my
pandemic. We're one
gosh.
of the few universities that opened their
It
own
is,
lab during the
right?
pandemic and kept our hospital out of probably uniquely in the state and of not hitting a crisis standard of care. Very few hospitals could say that. Our community did much better, and we're really proud of that. And we remained open. We remained solvent. And then
Wow.
we also just experienced, as everyone knows, a capital crime on campus, which shook us, and we're still recovering, if I'm being totally honest. So, we thought we ought to tell that story, and
You're
and
so
we've,
broke.
we're
Yep.
doing that.
You're so
Where
broke.
I have a co-author, Temple Kenyon, and we've written a book about this and about the P3 deal we did on the steam plant, which helped kick off a lot of our financial recovery. There's just a lot of things
Yeah, see, that's what I was telling you guys. It's not tunnels. It's so they had a water source and a heat source, and it saved up. I'm so glad it's 2024, y'all. I'm so glad. I'm so glad.
things in there that will help university presidents
I'm so
and even
glad.
managers. And it's just a good story
I
about,
couldn't take much
how,
more. I couldn't do it.
the process it took to become president, and then all that we did to write the institution and put us on the path where we could be a viable institution for competing for something like a University of Phoenix. When you think about it, that's a pretty incredible journey from where we were 4 years ago. So the book talks about all that. It doesn't talk about the University of Phoenix yet because it's not done. That'll be the next one. And
Oh,
but
that'll be the next
for now
one.
we've got that. And
Sneaky
I'll
guy.
just say that
Sneaky guy.
all the university revenues that come from this book, it's not a Scott Green project; it's a university project. So it's all going to the Healing Gardens for remembering the
Oh my
lost students.
gosh.
So
Okay. I'm gonna say this again because I'm tired of fucking hearing this shit. When we watched A Year to the Day, we were in Moscow. We watched the program from the local news, A Year to the Day. And that's when they talked about this welcome garden. That's when we saw that it was fucking November of the next year. And they literally had a drawing the size of this right here. That's how big the drawing was. It wasn't even filled in. The trees weren't even fully colored. When they showed you a shot, they showed you a shot of a couple foot area on an edge of a lawn that had a rock and a little bit of sand and wanted to give you this detail. If they gave a fuck, Don't you think that they would have already had the design and plans already done and completed at the end of the school year? And then everybody that would have been had a part of building it would have done it during the summertime. So that way you could truly honor the students. So then when everybody comes back the next year, they come back to the healing garden. It's a fucking piece of land that has sand and rocks. And it takes you 2 years or more because we don't even know. We just saw how much progress there was a year to when the crime took place, and that's already after the new year started. And you fucking care? If you don't know what I'm talking, go. It's I think it's Creme 2. Creme 2. They sit there and they talk to the local news. Just look it up. It was the year episode. They talk to and you got fucking Jimmy Neutron out there. Yeah, this is where it's gonna be, and it's just a bunch of fucking grass. It's bullshit.
We
They
encourage you to go out and buy it. I understand that you're going to send that
bullshit.
type of information, a QR code. You can
I'm
just
tired
order
of
the
hearing
book
him talk.
after
The
this
fucking
in a follow-up email.
bro, you already have how much fucking money going to the fucking wellness garden? Like how many you got all the
No,
it's
and we're
just
excited
so
for people to
fucking
read it. We think
much
it's really good, and
bullshit.
most people, that have had the opportunity to read it tell us,
Fucking Home
this
Depot.
is
What's up, Tiffany?
it's going to be a
Ticket number
really useful
90.
book for not only just those in education, but for all managers of
Useful
all
book.
kinds. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be writing a book about my experiences and trials of dealing with a fucking shit ass internet for fucking 8 months. Okay. So that way anybody that's either dealing with it or about to deal with it in the future, you can read my book and you can make it through. Okay?
We will
The
definitely
fuck.
send out that information on how people can get that book, along with the link to this webinar that's
Yeah.
going on now. So
My struggles
we're
dealing with
excited for that, and we're also
dealing with
very
a shitty fucking internet company connection and trying to have a fucking YouTube show. Yeah.
proud
Yeah.
of
We'll
the
we'll write
accomplishments
that book.
that you took on
Help
head
you guys
on,
out, you know.
and we're in a much better place. So I'll be one of the first people to buy that book. I promise you.
Yeah, I bet you
terrific.
will.
We appreciate it.
Yeah. There is a question. You brought up the healing gardens,
Oh
the
my
loss of our
gosh.
students.
Here we
There
go.
was a question regarding
Yeah, why wasn't
the
it built
King
early?
house,
Ooh.
and that this particular person said it
Ooh.
used to be a 2-bedroom house when they were living here on campus. What's the
Ooh.
latest on what's going to be?
Wow, it used to wow. It, they said it used to be a 2-bedroom house.
Get that book, along with the link to this webinar that's going on now. So we're excited for that, and we're also very proud of the accomplishments that
Thank you.
that you took on head on, and we're in a much better place. So I'll be one of the first people to buy that book. I promise you.
Terrific.
This is
We
gonna be a
appreciate it.
good question here
Yeah.
too. This whole episode's been good.
There is a question. You brought up the healing gardens, for the loss of our students. There was a question regarding the King house,
Mm.
and that this particular person said it used to be a 2-bedroom house when they were living here on campus. What's the latest on?
Okay, that's the first time I've heard it was a 2-bedroom house, you guys. It was an old mining shack at one point, huh? What, the very bottom? Just the basement? Just the basement? Is that why it had so many utility rooms in there and shit? What? I bet you the utility room was a kitchen on the first floor, wasn't it, April? When you go in and then you go to the left, I bet you that room before you get to the bedroom, I bet you that was the kitchen, wasn't it? Ah. Where's the picture of that? Where's the picture of that? Interesting.
What's going to be happening with the house on King Road?
Interesting.
So the house was donated to us. Frankly, there was a lot of damage done to the house, and it really was not safe as part of the investigation into it. And all that had to be remediated before we could do anything with it. So we've completed that remediation. We've taken all the personal items out of there and given the families an opportunity to retrieve what they wanted, and we safely disposed of the rest because a lot of it was contaminated. Um,
So you're telling me that a lot of it was contaminated? Hold on. So you're telling me that the family members wanted to toss shit? I would like to ask any of the family members. If they decided, is this true? Was there a decision to toss? You think so? There was a decision. If I don't care if it was contaminated, if it was I'm just speaking for me, and if it happened to one of my loved ones, I'm sorry. I don't care. Man, Mr. Green is saying a lot in this video tonight.
And that this particular person said it used to be a 2-bedroom house when they were living here on campus. What's the latest on what's going to be happening with the house on King Road?
so the house was donated to us. Frankly, there was a lot of damage done to the house, and it really was not safe as part of the investigation into it. And all that had to be remediated before we could do anything with it.
Remediated.
So we've
That's
completed
what
that
you call it?
remediation. We've taken all the personal items out of there and given the families an opportunity to retrieve what they wanted, and we safely disposed of the rest because a lot of it was contaminated. Um, uh,
Oh, they threw it away because it was contaminated. But yet you didn't give a list to the family members, remember? What's up, Cheryl? Remember, Mr. Green? Nobody got a list of items, right? Right, Memory? Where's the inventory list of the items? Oh, interesting.
There is a question. You brought up the healing gardens, the loss of our
Oh, this
students.
is a
There was
good
a question regarding the
y'all. Hey, if you guys are just hopping in, skip the News Nation videos. Go right to where we start talking, Mr. Green. I will have timestamps in this video for sure. You guys are going to have your mind blown this whole time we're discussing Mr. Green. Trust me, you'll want to go back.
the King house, and that this particular person said it used to be a 2-bedroom house when they were living here on campus. What's the latest on what's going to be happening with the house on King Road?
so the house was donated to us. Frankly, there was a lot of damage done to the house, and it really was not safe as part of the investigation into it. And all that had to be remediated before we could do anything with it. So we've completed that remediation. We've taken all the personal items out of there and given the families an opportunity to retrieve what they wanted, and we safely disposed of the rest because a lot of it was contaminated. Um,
With
Now it's
no
just a matter
inventory
of
list.
tearing down the house at some point.
What a
We
joke.
aren't going to do it during the school year. We just have too much going on right now. So we deferred that decision, but probably till at least after this semester is done. But the house will come down. And the idea is that, we do want to do something with the land that would benefit, future students. And so the idea is that we may use it for low income housing or something like that. But,
Are you
and probably
you're gonna turn that shit into low income? What? What the fuck?
that, we do want to do something with the land that would benefit, future students. And so the idea is that we may use it for low income housing or something like that. But, and probably get our College of Art and Architecture students involved in that. But we'll see. We still have decisions to make on it. And, frankly,
What?
I want to make sure that we do what's right for the families and the students. And so we're taking our
You
time in
lying
deciding
ass
exactly
motherfucker. You want to do what's right for the families, you piece of shit.
is that we may use it for low income housing or something like that.
You
But,
lying
and
ass
probably get our College of
motherfucker.
Art and Architecture students involved in that. But we'll see. We still have decisions to make on it. And, frankly, I want to make sure that we do what's right for the families and the
You
students.
lying ass
And so
motherfucker.
we're taking our time in deciding exactly when and how to do this.
Good, thank you. Question regarding first generation students, and there's been
Wow.
numbers thrown around that 50%, 52% of our students are first generation students. That's something to be very proud of. What do you attribute that success to?
I'm sorry, can you say that last part again?
What is the success attributed to by having
The crime, because people probably want to go to fucking school where the fucking crime took place. Hello, well, that's why the enrollment was higher, lady.
52% of the students being first generation
And that's only over 6,000 people.
students?
Yeah.
That's-
So I don't know this for a fact. Dean Kaler keeps promising some numbers, but I haven't seen them yet. But I believe a lot of it has to do with our Enroll Idaho program, which is where we travel around the state, high school students, and
What's up, Moonville
and
Ticket
talk about the
111? Thank
the
you very
University
much.
of Idaho and how you can finance it. Because many students, and particularly first gen, I mean, their parents
Yeah, everybody, guess what? You can sell some of the university property and lease it to Home Depot.
really don't know much about college or how to go about getting loans or filing, FAFSAs or, where Moscow even is and what you can study there and why it's valuable and will it pay off? Because there's a lot of discussion around that. So we travel around to high schools around Idaho. We talk about all that, including how you can finance it. And we think that that's been really helpful because
Yeah,
we
just
saw a
lease your
real
land to
jump
Home
after we
Depot.
started
Buy
doing that. So I
University of
suspect,
Phoenix online.
even though I can't
Make it
prove it yet with
nonprofit
the
so you
data,
can
but I
have
think the
access
data will
to the
bear it
free
out
money.
that those visits have really paid off. And we go to all sizes of high school, not just the big ones in
Shit.
the Treasure Valley.
I'm gonna tell you right now, this video is paid off because, dude, you have said so much in this. It is. This ain't no lie. I told you guys in the beginning of the episode that it's all about the Greenjamins, baby. And I told you, you guys were going to be getting into some shit tonight. If you're just hopping in, definitely go. I'll have the timestamp put in after the show's over tonight because we still have more stuff to get through. I'm packing 2 shows that I was supposed to do yesterday into a show this evening. No, it's not over. We're going to be still going for a while. I'm packing 2 shows because I was having internet issues yesterday. I was supposed to do my Cliff Notes. I was supposed to do my Cliff Notes yesterday morning, and then we were going to be having this tonight, where we were going into a lot of this other stuff too. So no, it's not close to being done. Trust me. So if you are just joining the live, trust me, skip ahead past the dumbass News Nation shit. Go right. I'll have timestamps after the show's over, but go right to the beginning. When we're done tonight, go to the beginning, and oh my gosh, it's crazy how even the University of Idaho started, and it wasn't even a university except for on paper for 3 years, and it was meant to keep the panhandle so nobody else could claim the land. It's ridiculous, people. Their graduating class had 4 people.
I've been to Tonia and up to Sandpoint, and and salmon and and around the state. So, potlatch, so, again, and I love it. It's fun. Love going to those high schools, and we have a good time with it. But more importantly, I think the students come away with a desire to learn more about
I hope Ann Taylor sees that video right there. I hope Ann Taylor sees that video.
going to college and what they can get out of it. I like to say it makes you healthier, wealthier, and wiser. And we talk about how you'll earn more money, $1.2 million on average. Even though I think the latest I saw was actually much more.
I mean, shit, we talked about it like a few weeks ago, a month ago, maybe more. And then I made the highlight video of it finally, and still ain't nobody talking about it. I don't understand it, because when you watch the contamination that takes place in front of your eyes, when they're the ones that are also inside the property as well, I don't understand it. I don't understand why it's not the biggest topic out there when it comes to this case. When you see the contamination that took place, I don't understand it. I don't get why it's not the top topic of Idaho4 when it comes to I mean, I don't get it.
That is
I don't
almost
get
$2
it.
million. Again, on average, healthier, you'll live 9 years longer on average because you're making better decisions, and you're happier. You're more involved in your community. Yeah, all the surveys would indicate that. So we have a good story to tell, and it's different than the ones that the extremists want to tell, who are against higher education. So we need to get our story out there as well, and we're doing that.
Yes, our alumni are always asking how they can help, and that telling the story, rec- recruiting their neighbors' kids, their kids, really helping them get to campus to see what a great opportunity it is for a student. We have a question on affirmative action. With all the recent discussion and changes to affirmative action and concerns about legacy admissions, how does the University of Idaho respond to that?
Well, we've always based our decisions on folks making, hitting our criteria. I'm struggling for the words exactly, but that's it. Basically, if you meet our criteria, you're accepted to the University of Idaho. So there's really no other basis for accepting students here. And since we're a public institution, it's kind of always been that way. Other institutions have not, and I understand why they did things the way they did. In fact, one of my mentors actually was one of the lawyers for Harvard, arguing that case. Um, uh, so we don't really have to make many adjustments here at the U of I, fortunately. But it's going to be a very big change for many institutions, and I don't know how they're going to deal with it, or and how they're going to adjust. But it's clear they're going to have to probably do something in very short order.
Wonderful. Thank you. We do have time for a few more questions that I wanted to circle back to on University of Phoenix. They keep flowing in a little bit. So I think we still have about 10 minutes with you.
Nice.
So I'm going to ask a few more.
Here again, I'm going to give you guys this link. I mean, oh my gosh. This video is a gem. This video is a gem. Here's the link again.
For those, if you don't mind, and then we'll have time for you at the end. So while this alum supports the University of Phoenix opportunity, they're concerned about the degradation of the University of Idaho brand. At what point do you see rebranding to U of I online, name to be determined?
They're not.
Unlike
They're going to keep it totally separate, but have access to the books, people.
Purdue
Watch.
Global / Catholic.
Yeah, so many of the issues that have been raised with Purdue and Ashford and others is what we call they didn't have the clean break I was talking to earlier, and that's comes from both sides. It could be they've got operators, sellers who were also operators who are still involved, or they don't have their own independent board. They've been merged into their operations. We're going to operate as separate institutions and be separately branded, and we still have our own online operation. We have Idaho4, U of I360, which is our online operation. We're going to learn a lot from the University of Phoenix, and that affiliation is going to help our online operations, but it's not going to replace it. And we'll build a lot of pathways for our students to the University of Phoenix and vice versa. You can imagine with 85,000 students a year, if we get a small portion of those to go on to graduate school or for their PhD at the U of I, you've done pretty well. You can imagine with 1 million alumni out there, they start watching our football games or coming to the Kibby Dome.
See what I'm saying? Oh my gosh. I just need to quit second guessing my damn intuition because I just need to flow with that fucking shit,
So,
man.
I think
This
we
is
still have about 10
I've been
minutes with
calling this
you.
shit,
So,
man. This is
I'm
so
going to
fucking
ask a few
crazy.
more of those if you don't mind, and then
This is so
time for
fucking
you at the
crazy.
end.
Oh,
So while this alum
you're a
supports the
conspiracy
University of
theorist,
Phoenix
CJ? No, I'm not.
opportunity, they're concerned about the
Just because
degradation
I
of
don't have a
the
degree.
University of
Get out of
Idaho
here.
brand. At what point do you see rebranding to U of I online, name to be determined, not unlike Purdue Global / Kaplan?
Yeah, so many of the issues that have been raised with Purdue and Ashford and others is what we call they didn't have the clean break I was talking to earlier, and that's comes from both sides. It
The
could be
clean
they've got
break.
operators, sellers who were also operators who are still involved, or they don't have their own independent board. They've been merged into their operations. We're going to operate as separate institutions and be separately branded, and we still have our own online operation. We have Idaho4, U of I360, which is our online operation. We're going to learn a lot from the University of Phoenix, and that affiliation is going to help our online operations, but it's not going to replace it. And we'll build a lot of pathways for our students to the University of Phoenix and vice versa. You can imagine with 85,000 students a year, if we get a small portion of those to go on to graduate school or for their PhD at the U of I, you've done pretty well. You can imagine with 1 million alumni out there, they start watching our football games or coming to the Kibby Dome. A very small portion of that million, it could have a huge impact. So we're pretty excited about that. But I'm less worried about brand degradation. We will always be the University of Idaho. They're going to be the University of Phoenix at least for the foreseeable future. And I think once they're part of our ecosystem for quite a while, I think you're going to see all these issues around
Part of our
because they were private
ecosystem.
and or are private.
Oh my
But as a
gosh.
operating as a non-for-profit with all their incentives that are aligned with student success, I think you're going to see a lot of those issues go away. Their accreditors think very highly of them. They've got a 2-tiered system, HLC. And in the last go round, their creditors actually put them on the higher category where they gave them a lot of self regulation. And it's because they really like this management team and they like what they see. Despite what don't believe everything you read. And they did pay a big fine.
Yeah, they did pay a lot of them too. Yeah, don't believe everything you read that you can easily search up on fucking Google. Mr. Businessman. Come on, bro. You know better than that. That's the first day of class, just like the DNA dirty glove lady was. Come on. The first day, man.
But they did not
The
indicate
first
guilt.
day.
I think most of them are regretting that now because, again, they've never had to, they've never really been convicted of anything, unlike some of these others who actually had a finding, right? Again, it's that was a business decision they made. May not have been the best one, but these people, this management team, at least that we're working with, are very good people. They've been up here to talk and meet our faculty and our students, and people have gotten to know them. They've met with the legislators, and they sell themselves. I don't have to once they've met them. It was the same thing when we met them. That's why I decided, listen, this is worth going after, and that's what I told our board. These people are not what are not what you think about when you think about private operators of educational institutions. So
no, I haven't seen that
Wonderful.
episode yet.
Good.
I haven't seen that episode yet, but I did save it. I do want to check it out.
I do have one more Phoenix question. The question is,
One
if the
more?
purchase
Oh
price
my
is being funded
gosh.
with
Yes.
$500 million debt
Listen to these
requiring
questions.
$70 million of debt service each year, it seems like there would be less money, not more, available for the student experience.
I got to
Scott,
email
can you walk
Jay.
us through the finance? And
Yeah,
I got to email Jay.
they generate about $150 million of EBITDA every year. So you add 20 million or $20 million to that because they won't have to pay taxes anymore, and then do your math. There's going to be a substantial amount of money left over for reinvestment into the University of Phoenix, which they will need to keep their systems world class, and for the U of I and our affiliation. So the numbers are
Thank you.
just spectacular, and anyone who can't who doesn't see that, probably is not in the business world. And I it's not a criticism. I'm just saying that there's a lot of people who don't get it, who just think it's some toxic asset out there, and it's just not. It's an incredibly profitable operation and growing. This is probably one of the best opportunities I've seen as a business person in my career. So it'd be crazy for us not to consider it.
okay, good. Getting off the Phoenix topic real quick.
Crazy of us.
I like this
Crazy of us not to consider it, dude. You are out of your fucking mind, bro.
question. It's a lot of fun. How do U of I students differ from 30 years ago to today and 10 year and maybe even 10 years ago in terms of goals and motivation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let me start with how they're the same.
Yeah.
And then I can talk a little bit about, maybe some of the differences. But, what I find amazing is how similar they are to where we were. The technology has changed their lives in many ways, but they're still, at least at the University of Idaho, they're still quality students. They're still hardworking. There's a work ethic here. Our Idaho industry still loves. They love coming and competing for U of I students. We've got nearly 300 companies that are going to be on campus in a couple of weeks at our career fair. It's unbelievable, the support that our students get and the demand for them. And it's that Idaho work ethic. 70% of our students are still Idaho kids, and they bring that, and they bring it to their employers when they're done here, together with the education they've gotten here, which we all know because we've been through it, is first rate, and has enabled many of us to compete, around the world if we choose to do that.
Oh.
So
Listen to him.
that has not changed, and I'm proud of that, and I like that. What has changed, and I kind of alluded to it, is they are very technology driven. If it's not on their phone, it doesn't exist. So if you want to recruit students, you got to be on their phone, and it can't be an email. It's got to be video. It's just they live in that world in 10-second, 15-second sound bites. I mean, some of the commercials we're putting out, I can't even follow, but the kids do. They get it and they follow it. I would also say they care deeply about people and the environment more than we did. And again, I don't mean that as a criticism of us. I just think that we grew up in a time when natural resources were abundant, and nobody really had to think about where their water was coming from. And that's changed. And these young
See, I told you guys they have to worry about water because they don't have a water source. It's the I'm so glad it's 2024 and we're past the tunnels. I'm
adults
so
get
glad.
that,
I'm
and
so
they care,
glad.
and they want to fix it. They want to conserve what we've got and make sure that we have the same opportunities to go out and hunt and fish and do what we want to do. And they're worried that world might be coming to an end if we don't start making some radical changes about how we
Really?
manage our natural resources. So
Okay, buddy.
I'm just impressed by how they care about each other, about their community and the planet. And I think we're in good hands. I do, going forward, even though they're a different cohort. I think we're in good hands.
Excellent. All right. This alum is so excited to come up here for the football games this weekend and is going to the Styx concert and wants to know, are you going to the Styx concert?
I'll be there. Interestingly, the Styx was the first band I saw, live concert I saw as a kid, because they're one of the few who came through Boise. So It's going to be interesting. These guys got to be pretty old. I mean, they got to be at least as old as me, older than me, right? So it'll be fun to watch them. But yeah, I'm going, and I can't wait. Looking forward to it. And of course, football. Sac State may be the toughest game we have this year, other than Cal. And if we beat them, we're in very, very good position. To make a run for a national championship. But it's not going to come easy. They beat Stanford last week, so we've got our work cut out for us at home. Be there or on square, right?
No seats. Don't believe any rumors that you can't find a seat. You
Be
can.
square, huh?
I think this comment is great to end on. But this alum could speak to many of the alum that are out there today. Just wanted to thank you, President Green, for your leadership and your reasonable, progressive vision for the flagship institution of our state so far during your tenure. And always, always, alumni are proud to be a Vandal, and this person is grateful for the ongoing work you are doing for the continued preservation of our great university's reputation and place in the state of Idaho. So I know many would agree with that.
Coffee.
So
Thank you for that.
Love that. Any last words in this last minute together?
What an interesting
I appreciate
video.
I think we had over 125 alums on at this time. I appreciate you tuning in. I hope you like what you heard, and if not, I'm sure you'll write me and tell me, and that's good too. I always love to hear from our alumni. And Amy, I just always have to say, go Vandals.
Right?
Go Van.
Yeah, I'm sure they will write your ass because you just fucking, oh boy. Yo. Like I said, it's all about the Greenjamins, baby. If you're just joining in, you'll after the show's over, I'm gonna be putting the timestamps in because you guys are not gonna want to miss from the beginning of when we start getting into this stuff. You guys, this is oh my, what a video. Here's the link again. And I sent it to Jay for Justice. I said, here's another green gem. Man, this video was crazy. Here, I thought we were going to be sitting down with Joe the Vandal, the mascot. They were going to be having a cup of coffee. Guess not. Was it not fucking filled? I mean, gee, why the university even started in the first place. You're going to fucking freak. Meant to keep the panhandle as a land grab, and it was a university on paper to do it for 3 years before it even had a building. They just did it to make sure they didn't lose the panhandle for Idaho. Ain't it nuts? Out of your damn mind. It's crazy.